From the notorious case of Gerard John Schaefer Jr., known as the Killer Cop or the Hangman, to the transfer of Derek Chauvin, the ex-police officer who killed George Floyd, to a federal prison for his safety, we will take you on a journey where we delve into the dark and twisted world of corrupt cops and the prison cells that house them. In this video, we explore the question, how insane is corrupt cops' prison cell security? Prepare to be captivated as we uncover the unbelievable facts surrounding the security measures implemented to contain these corrupt individuals. Derek Chauvin. It is not news that the former police officer who killed George Floyd is now in a federal prison in Arizona. Derek Chauvin, who is serving more than 20 years for the murder of Floyd and violating his civil rights, requested that he be allowed to serve his sentence at the FCI Tucson, which comes as a surprise considering that serving at a federal prison meant that he'll have to do more time. Legal experts all believe the FCI Tucson is a safe prison for a police officer. According to former federal prosecutor Niama Ramani, the general reason is federal prison just tends to be safer and nicer than state prison and local jails. How true is this? We're about to find out. Picture this, a sprawling complex nestled within the arid landscapes of Arizona, where the scorching sun casts an unforgiving glare on the towering fences and watchtowers. Welcome to the Federal Correctional Institution, Tucson, a place where security is taken to unprecedented heights. From above, FCI Tucson resembles a labyrinth of concrete and steel, a maze designed to keep its inhabitants locked away from society. The prison is surrounded by multiple layers of fencing, each one more formidable than the last. These fences are not your ordinary chain-link variety. No, they are reinforced with heavy-duty steel, making them virtually impenetrable. And if that wasn't enough, the razor wire acts as an additional deterrent, a formidable barrier that would shred the flesh of anyone foolish enough to attempt to climb over. But it's not just the physical barriers that make FCI Tucson so secure. The prison is equipped with a state-of-the-art surveillance system that leaves no corner unwatched. Surveillance cameras, strategically placed throughout the facility, provide an all-seeing eye, capturing every movement, every interaction, and every potential threat. Behind the scenes, a team of vigilant guards monitors these cameras, their eyes trained on the screens, ready to respond to any sign of trouble. They are the unsung heroes of FCI Tucson, the guardians of order within these walls. However, the security measures at this prison don't stop at the fences and cameras. The perimeter of FCI Tucson is patrolled by armed guards, their watchful presence a constant reminder that escape is a futile endeavor. These guards are highly trained and prepared for any situation that may arise. They are the first line of defense, ready to protect the public from the dangerous individuals housed within these walls. As we approach the entrance of FCI Tucson, we are met with yet another layer of security. A series of checkpoints and access control points ensure that only authorized personnel can enter the premises. Every vehicle and individual is thoroughly screened, their identities verified, and their intentions scrutinized. Once inside, the inmates are housed in two-person medium security cells. These cells are designed to maximize security while providing a semblance of comfort. Thick walls and reinforced doors ensure that escape is nearly impossible. And with constant supervision from the dedicated staff, any attempts at collusion or escape are swiftly thwarted. But FCI Tucson isn't just a prison for male inmates, it also houses an administrative facility for both male and female offenders. This unique setup adds an extra layer of complexity to the security measures, as the staff must navigate the dynamics of housing different genders while maintaining strict control. The strict protocols and daily routines at FCI Tucson serve a dual purpose. On one hand, they maintain order and security within the prison. On the other hand, they provide structure and a sense of normalcy for the inmates, offering them a semblance of routine in an otherwise chaotic environment. Behind these walls, lives are transformed, and individuals are given a chance at redemption. The daily routines and strict protocols at FCI Tucson are not just about punishment, they are about rehabilitation and the hope of a second chance. In August 2022, Chauvin decided this was going to become his new home, and he was moved from the Oak Park Heights State Prison to the FCI Tucson. However, there's no denying the fact that his presence within the prison walls may have added an extra layer of complexity to the security measures in place, as authorities had to navigate the heightened tensions surrounding his case. While his choice of confinement is quite interesting, I would be doing you an injustice if I didn't mention why the former officer had been sentenced in the first place. It was on May 25, 2020, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, when the lives of George Floyd and Derek Chauvin intersected in a way that would have far-reaching consequences. George Floyd, a 46-year-old African-American man, found himself in a situation that would ultimately cost him his life. Derek Chauvin, a white police officer with a history history of misconduct complaints was one of the officers responding to a call about a counterfeit $20 bill being used at a local convenience store. As the officers arrived at the scene, they encountered George Floyd, who was sitting in a parked vehicle. What started as a routine investigation quickly escalated into a tragic and horrifying incident. According to witness accounts and video footage captured by bystanders, the situation quickly spiraled out of control. As the officers attempted to place George Floyd under arrest, he resisted, leading to a struggle between Floyd and the officers. It was during this struggle that Derek Chauvin made the fateful decision to use excessive force, kneeling on Floyd's neck for approximately 9 minutes. The video footage that emerged of this incident sent shockwaves across the nation and beyond. It showed George Floyd pleading for his life, gasping for breath, and repeatedly stating that he couldn't breathe. Bystanders pleaded with the officers to release Floyd and expressed their concern for his well-being. Despite the pleas from Floyd and the bystanders, Derek Chauvin maintained his position, keeping his knee pressed against Floyd's neck. This act of excessive force would have devastating consequences. As the minutes ticked by, George Floyd's condition deteriorated. He became unresponsive, yet Chauvin continued to apply pressure to his neck. It wasn't until paramedics arrived that Chauvin finally removed his knee from Floyd's neck. Tragically, it was too late. George Floyd was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. Following the death of Floyd, Chauvin was arrested and his trial began on March 8, 2021 in Hennepin County District Court. It was a highly anticipated and closely watched trial that would determine the fate of the former police officer. The prosecution and defense presented their cases, and the jury listened to the evidence and testimonies to reach a verdict. After weeks of testimony and arguments from both sides, the trial reached its climax on April 20, 2021, when the jury began their deliberations. After approximately 10 hours of deliberation, the jury reached a unanimous verdict. Derek Chauvin was found guilty on all 3 charges: second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. The verdict was met with a mix of relief, satisfaction, and a renewed sense of hope for justice. On June 25, 2021, Derek Chauvin was sentenced to 22.5 years in prison for the murder of George Floyd.
The court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months.
The former Minneapolis police officer was then booked into the Oak Park Heights prison, where he was placed in solitary confinement until his move in August 2022. If you think the federal correctional institution Tucson stands as a testament to impenetrable security measures and strict protocols, well, you're in for a ride, as this is just one of the many prisons where corrupt cops are housed. Gerald John Schaefer Jr., described by prosecutor Robert Stone as the most sexually deviant person he had ever encountered. Former police officer Gerard John Schaefer Jr., also known as the Killer Cop, was a serial killer who was convicted of the 1972 murder and mutilation of 2 teenage girls in Port St. Lucie, Florida. He was also suspected of up to 26 further murders, and for his crime, Schaefer was sentenced to 2 terms of life imprisonment to be served at Florida State Prison. Why was this prison deemed perfect confinement for this psychopathic killer? Let's find out. In the early 1900s, the state of Florida required a secure correctional facility to house its growing inmate population. This need led to the establishment of the Florida State Prison, originally known as the State Prison Farm, in 1913. Located in Union County, Florida, this prison would soon become a symbol of both fear and fascination. The State Prison Farm was initially designed as a place where inmates could be put to work, farming the prison property. This practice, known as convict leasing, was a common method used by many prisons at the time. Inmates were used as a source of cheap labor, often subjected to harsh conditions and long hours of work. However, in 1923, the Florida State Prison took a significant step forward in its evolution. The practice of convict leasing was abolished, marking a turning point in the prison's history. From that point on, the focus shifted towards creating a more secure and controlled environment for the inmates. Over the years, the Florida State Prison underwent various changes and additions to enhance its security measures. In 1955, the construction of the East Unit transformed the prison into a more modern and formidable institution. This new unit would later become the new Florida State Prison, while the original site was redesignated as the Union Correctional Institution. The Union Correctional Institution, as it stands today, is a testament to the prison's commitment to providing a secure environment for both staff and inmates. With a maximum capacity of 2,172 adult male prisoners at various security levels, it is one of the largest prisons in the Florida system. When it comes to security, the Florida State Prison leaves no stone unturned. This institution has implemented a comprehensive range of measures to ensure the safety of both staff and inmates. One of the key elements of the prison security system is its highly trained and dedicated staff. The correctional officers at the Florida State Prison undergo rigorous training to handle the unique challenges that come with working in a correctional facility. They are equipped with the necessary skills and knowledge to maintain order, enforce rules, and respond to any potential security threats. To supplement the efforts of the staff, the Florida State Prison has deployed advanced surveillance systems throughout its premises. Strategically positioned CCTV cameras provide constant monitoring of the prison grounds, leaving no blind spots. This allows for swift detection of any suspicious activities or potential security breaches. In addition to surveillance, the prison has implemented strict visitation policies to prevent unauthorized access. Visitors are subjected to thorough screening procedures, including identification checks and searches, to ensure that no contraband or unauthorized items are brought into the facility. This stringent approach helps maintain the integrity of the prison's security measures. Furthermore, the Florida State Prison has established a range of security protocols to prevent escapes. Regular head counts are conducted to account for every inmate, ensuring that no one goes missing. Inmate movement is carefully regulated, with restrictions in place to prevent unauthorized access to certain areas of the prison. Secure fencing and barriers further fortify the perimeter, making it extremely difficult for anyone to breach the prison's boundaries. To enhance the effectiveness of security measures, the Florida State Prison has a dedicated K9 unit. These highly trained dogs are capable of detecting drugs, weapons, and other contraband. Their keen senses and unwavering loyalty make them an invaluable asset in maintaining a secure environment within the prison. The Florida State Prison's commitment to security extends beyond its physical infrastructure. The institution has implemented comprehensive training programs for its staff, focusing on crisis management, conflict resolution, and emergency response. This ensures that the prison is well prepared to handle any situation that may arise. While the Florida State Prison is known for its robust security measures, it has not been without its share of challenges and notable incidents throughout its history. Let's explore some of these incidents that have tested the prison's security protocols. One of the most infamous incidents in the prison's history occurred in the 1970s when notorious serial killer Ted Bundy was incarcerated at the Florida State Prison. Bundy, known for his heinous crimes and ability to escape custody, posed a significant security risk. Despite the prison's best efforts, Bundy managed to escape from the facility not once but twice. These daring escapes highlighted the need for constant vigilance and reinforced the importance of maintaining a secure environment. Another notable inmate who tested the prison's security was Gary Ray Bowles, also known as the I-95 Killer. Bowles, a serial killer who targeted gay men along the Interstate 95 corridor, was sentenced to death and housed at the Florida State Prison. His presence posed a unique challenge for the prison, as it had to ensure the safety of both Bowles and other inmates who may have been targeted by him. The prison's security measures were put to the test in managing the risk associated with housing such a dangerous individual. Over the years, the Florida State Prison has continuously adapted and improved its security measures in response to these challenges. The incidents and challenges it has faced have served as valuable lessons, leading to the implementation of stricter protocols and enhanced training for staff. Despite these challenges, the Florida State Prison remains committed to its mission of maintaining a secure correctional facility. The dedication of its staff, the implementation of advanced security systems, and the continuous evaluation and improvement of protocols ensure that the prison remains a formidable institution. It was little wonder why Schaefer was sent to this prison in the first place. Born on March 26, 1946, in the quiet town of Neenah, Wisconsin, Schaefer's life was marred by turmoil and instability, frequent family relocations, his father's alcoholism, and his father's verbal abuse of his wife and children created a toxic environment that would have a lasting impact on young Gerald. Growing up, Schaefer found solace in nature and outdoor pursuits. He developed a keen interest in exploring the wilderness, often spending hours alone in the woods. However, beneath his seemingly innocent exterior, dark desires began to take hold. As he entered adolescence, Schaefer's fantasies took a disturbing turn. He developed erotic fantasies of hurting women and became fixated on sadomasochism and bondage. These twisted desires would later manifest in his horrific crimes. In June 1972, he joined the Martin County Sheriff's Department as a sheriff's deputy. Just a month after being a cop, Schaefer committed his first murder in July 1972. His first known victims were two teenage hitchhikers named Nancy Ellen Trotter and Paula Sue Wells. He lured them into his vehicle under the pretense of offering them a ride. Taking the unsuspecting girls to a remote forest, Schaefer bound and gagged them, subjecting them to unspeakable acts of torture. But fate intervened when an urgent radio dispatch interrupted his sadistic ritual. Forced to leave the girls temporarily, Schaefer never anticipated what would happen next. Despite their restraints, Nancy and Paula managed to break free from their captivity captor's clutches. In a desperate bid for survival, they fought their way through the dense forest, their hearts pounding with fear. Finally, they reached safety and reported their harrowing ordeal to the police. The authorities wasted no time in launching an investigation into the girls' claims. Their testimonies painted a horrifying picture of Schaefer's sadistic nature and his penchant for inflicting pain. The community was left in shock as they learned that one of their own, a trusted law enforcement officer, was capable of such heinous acts. As the investigation unfolded, more disturbing evidence began to surface. In September 1972, the bodies of two friends, Susan Carroll Place and Georgia Marie Jessup, were discovered, and not long after, other bodies were also discovered across the state. The gruesome manner in which they were found sent shockwaves through the community, leaving no doubt that a serial killer was at large. The medical examiner's testimony revealed the horrifying extent of the victims' suffering. Their bodies showed signs of torture and mutilation, confirming the sadistic nature of Schaefer's crimes. The presence of clothing fibers, set of pieces of jewelry, and the victims being suspended from tree limbs added to the mounting evidence against him. In a shocking twist, a manuscript written by Schaefer himself was entered into evidence, titled "How to Properly Execute Women." It detailed his twisted methods and provided a chilling glimpse into the mind of a deranged killer. The manuscript also served as a haunting testament to Schaefer's depravity. Throughout the trial, Schaefer maintained his innocence, but the weight of the evidence was overwhelming. The prosecution presented physical and circumstantial evidence, as well as testimonies from survivors who had managed to escape his clutches. The defense attempted to discredit witness testimony and raise doubts about the timing of the murders, but their efforts fell short. After hours of deliberation, the jury delivered their verdict: guilty. Schaefer was sentenced to 2 concurrent terms of life imprisonment, ensuring that he would never walk free again. However, his reign of terror was far from over. While incarcerated at Florida State Prison, Schaefer continued to haunt the nightmares of those who crossed his path. He maintained his innocence, but his actions spoke louder than words. Behind bars, he wrote fictional stories about murder, further revealing the depths of his disturbed mind. But justice would eventually catch up with Gerard John Schaefer Jr., as the universe definitely had a twisted sense of humor. In December 1995, he met a fitting end when he was stabbed to death by a fellow inmate named Vincent Faustino Rivera. The Florida State Prison, which was perhaps one of the most secure prisons he could be, was where the man who had terrorized so many lives finally met his gruesome fate. Theodore Dyer. In December 2013, former Muskegon County Airport police officer Theodore Dyer was convicted of first-degree criminal assault on a 9-year-old girl. He was sentenced to 25 to 50 years in prison to be served at Saginaw Correctional Facility in Tittabawassee Township, Michigan, which was considered one of the most secure prisons in the state. Unfortunately, that would be where his life ended. First, let's delve into how secure this prison was and why it was deemed where Dyer would serve his sentence. In the heart of Tittabawassee Township, Michigan, stands the imposing Saginaw Correctional Facility, SRF, a prison that has become synonymous with security and incarceration. To truly understand the level of security this facility possesses, we must first delve into its history and construction. The Saginaw Correctional Facility opened its doors in 1993, marking a new era in the Michigan Department of Corrections approach to housing adult male inmates. Since its inception, the facility has been dedicated to providing a secure environment for both staff and prisoners. Spanning an impressive 43 acres, the Saginaw Correctional Facility consists of 11 main buildings, each serving a specific purpose within the complex. These buildings are meticulously designed to ensure the smooth operation of the facility while maintaining the highest level of security. Within the sprawling complex, there are 7 housing units dedicated to housing the male prisoners. These units are strategically designed to cater to prisoners of different security levels. 3 units are designated for Level 2 prisoners, who pose a lower risk to the community. Another 3 units are allocated for Level 4 prisoners, who are considered to be of higher risk and require stricter security measures. Lastly, there is 1 unit specifically designed for Level 1 prisoners, who are nearing the end of their sentences and are preparing for reintegration into society. The segregation of prisoners based on their security levels is crucial in maintaining order and ensuring the safety of both inmates and staff. By separating prisoners according to their risk factors, the Saginaw Correctional Facility can effectively manage the diverse population within its walls. But it's not just the sheer size and number of buildings that contribute to the facility's security. The Saginaw Correctional Facility is equipped with a range of advanced security measures that further fortify its defenses. One of the key components of the Saginaw Correctional Facility security system is the use of advanced electronic detection systems. These systems are strategically placed throughout the facility, constantly constantly monitoring inmate activity and alerting staff to any attempts at unauthorized movement or contraband smuggling. By employing state-of-the-art technology, the facility can quickly identify potential security breaches and take appropriate action. Double fences, topped with razor ribbon wire, encircle the perimeter, acting as a physical barrier to deter escape attempts. These fences are continuously monitored by surveillance cameras, ensuring that any breach is quickly detected and addressed. Closed-circuit television, CCTV cameras, also play a crucial role in maintaining security within the Saginaw Correctional Facility. These cameras are strategically positioned to provide comprehensive coverage of the facility, allowing staff to monitor inmate behavior in real time. The constant surveillance acts as a deterrent to potential misconduct and ensures that any suspicious activity is promptly addressed. In addition to the physical security measures, the Saginaw Correctional Facility employs armed patrol vehicles to patrol the perimeter. These vehicles act as a visible deterrent to potential escapees and provide a rapid response capability in case of emergencies. The Saginaw Correctional Facility relies on the dedication and vigilance of its correctional officers. These officers undergo rigorous training to develop the skills necessary to maintain order and security within the facility. They are responsible for conducting regular patrols, monitoring inmate behavior, and responding to any incidents that may arise. Correctional officers play a vital role in the day-to-day operations of the facility. They are trained to identify signs of potential security threats, such as gang activity or contraband smuggling. Through their presence and proactive approach, they help to deter misconduct and maintain a secure environment for both staff and inmates. To further enhance security, the Saginaw Correctional Facility employs a system of strict protocols and procedures. These protocols govern various aspects of prison life, including inmate movement, visitation, and the handling of contraband. By adhering to these protocols, the facility ensures that all activities within its walls are conducted in a controlled and secure manner. The importance of maintaining a secure environment cannot be overstated. A secure facility not only protects the community from potential harm, but also provides inmates with a sense of safety and stability. By creating an environment free from violence and intimidation, the Saginaw Correctional Facility promotes rehabilitation and the successful reintegration of inmates into society. Despite this high-end security, it's almost impossible for corrupt cops like Theodore Dyer to be completely safe from attacks, especially as he was in for a crime committed against a child. In June 2013, his neighbor caught the 67-year-old former police officer sexually assaulting her 9-year-old daughter and called the police. The authorities, armed with irrefutable evidence, charged him with first-degree criminal sexual conduct involving a child. Theodore Dyer, a man who had once hidden in plain sight, now faced the consequences of his monstrous deeds. The judge, recognizing the severity of the crimes, handed down a sentence that would ensure Dyer would never again walk freely among society. He was sentenced to serve 25 to 50 years behind bars, a punishment befitting the magnitude of his crimes. And so, in January, Theodore Dyer began his journey into the heart of the prison system. The Saginaw Correctional Facility became his new home, but little did Dyer know that his time in prison would be far from peaceful. The whispers of his crimes echoed through the corridors, reaching the ears of one man who would ultimately become his cellmate, Stephen D. Sanderson. Sanderson, already serving a life sentence without parole for a previous murder conviction, had his demons to contend with. The weight of his past actions had already sealed his fate, but the presence of Theodore Dyer would ignite a fire within him that would lead to a shocking turn of events. As days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months, tensions between Dyer and Sanderson began to rise. Dyer's incessant bragging about his heinous acts as a child molester became a constant source of torment for Sanderson. The walls of their shared cell became a pressure cooker, ready to explode at any moment, and explode it did.
The reason I killed him was because he was a child molester.
But you did in fact kill him.
Oh, sure.
And you intended to do it.
Oh, sure, yes.
On that fateful October day, the rage within Sanderson reached its boiling point. In a fit of rage, Sanderson struck Dyer, rendering him unconscious. With a twisted determination, he used Dyer's own shoelaces as a weapon, tightening them around his neck until the life drained from his body. Dyer's death served as a stark reminder of the dangers that exist within the prison system, especially towards corrupt cops who often didn't get away as easily as others. David Carrick. Arrested in 2021, David Carrick, a former police officer who worked for the Metropolitan Police, pleaded guilty to multiple counts of rape, all of which occurred between 2002 and 2021. In 2023, he was sentenced to life imprisonment at the HM prison Bmarsh. However, I bet he wasn't aware a nightmare awaited him at this prison. Bmarsh Prison, located in Thamesmead, southeast London, is a Category A men's prison known for its high-profile cases, particularly those concerning national security. Within its walls lies the High Security Unit, HSU, a prison within a prison, where some of the most dangerous prisoners in Britain are housed. With its 20-foot-high concrete wall and remote-controlled doors, the HSU is a place of extreme security measures and isolation, housing 48 single cells. Bmarsh Prison was established on the east site of the former Royal Arsenal in Woolwich and officially became operational on April 2, 1991. Its strategic proximity to Woolwich Crown Court makes it a convenient location for high-profile trials. While the Prison Bmarsh is deemed highly secure since it houses prisoners deemed a national threat, unlike the other correctional facilities mentioned, the conditions within the prison are far from comfortable, making it one of the worst places to send an inmate. Bmarsh Prison is a place where isolation and deprivation are the norm. The cells, whether multi-occupancy or single, offer little respite for the inmates. Over 60% of the cells are shared, leaving inmates with minimal personal space and privacy. The remaining 40% are single cells, providing a small semblance of solitude in an otherwise crowded environment. Within these confined spaces, inmates are stripped of their basic amenities. The absence of beds, toilets, sinks, and access to water is a stark reminder of the harsh reality of life behind bars. Inmates must adapt to these conditions, finding ways to cope with the lack of comfort and convenience. It is little wonder why corrupt officer David Carrick was sent here to serve his sentence, further increasing his punishment. After a short stint in the British Army, Carrick pursued a career in law enforcement, joining the Metropolitan Police in 2001. Little did anyone know that behind his uniform and badge, a sinister darkness lurked. In 2002, allegations of domestic abuse were made against Carrick, prompting an investigation by his employers. The Metropolitan Police took these allegations seriously and launched a thorough inquiry into Carrick's conduct. The accusations painted a disturbing picture of a man who used his position of power to exert control and inflict harm. Multiple complaints about Carrick's behavior were received by both the Metropolitan Police and other British police forces. These complaints raised red flags and should have been a cause for concern. However, despite the mounting evidence against him, Carrick managed to evade serious consequences. The system failed to recognize the danger Carrick posed, allowing him to continue his career as an armed police officer in the Parliamentary and Diplomatic Protection Team from 2009. This failure to take action had devastating consequences for the victims who would later suffer at Carrick's hands. Fast forward to 2021, when the shocking truth about Officer David Carrick came to light. A brave woman came forward, reporting that she had been raped by Carrick. This revelation marked the beginning of the end for Carrick and set in motion a series of events that would expose the full extent of his depravity. Using social media dating apps like Badoo and Tinder, the former officer preyed on multiple women by manipulating their trust, inflating his importance, and developing abusive relationships that left his victims traumatized. His crimes included rape, false imprisonment, indecent assault, attempted rape, coercive and controlling behavior, and so much more. Carrick's home in Stevenage, Hertfordshire became a house of horrors, a place where nightmares become reality. He would lock women inside cupboards, leaving them naked and vulnerable. He sometimes used a whip as a weapon on his victims and controlled every aspect of their lives, dictating what they wore, when and what they ate, and even where they slept. In some cases, he would ban them from eating altogether, exerting complete dominance over their existence. He was eventually arrested, and his sentencing hearing, which took place at Southwark Crown Court in February 2023, was a moment of reckoning for Carrick. The judge, Mrs. Justice Chima Grubb, delivered a powerful message to Carrick and the world. She described the crimes he committed against his victims, leaving no room for doubt about the severity of his actions. Carrick was ultimately sentenced to 36 life sentences, with a minimum term of 30 years plus 239 days.
This makes a total of 36 life sentences. The minimum term you will have to serve before the parole board can think of releasing you is 30 years, 239 days.
This means he must serve that long in prison before becoming eligible for parole. The court's decision was a testament to the gravity of his crimes and the lasting impact they had on his victims. The survivors, empowered by Carrick's conviction, also sought justice beyond the courtroom. 6 of them expressed their intention to sue the Metropolitan Police for breaching their human rights by failing to properly investigate the allegations against Carrick. Their actions aim to hold the institution accountable for its failures. The Independent Office for Police Conduct, IOPC, launched investigations into the way the Metropolitan Police and Wiltshire Police handled complaints against Carrick. The goal was to uncover any systemic issues that allowed Carrick's crimes to go undetected for so long. The revelations surrounding Carrick's crimes had a profound impact on public trust in the police force. Many called for a royal commission to address the systemic issues and restore faith in law enforcement. The need for transparency, accountability, and cultural change within the police became more apparent than ever. David Carrick was booked into the Bmarsh Prison where he was to serve his sentence. Whether or not this was a deliberate act of punishment, what mattered most was that justice had finally been served for his victims. From razor wire fences to state-of-the-art surveillance systems, these prisons' security leaves no stone unturned when it comes to keeping its inmates locked up tight, especially corrupt cops who now have to call these facilities home. If you found this video fascinating, click on the card showing on your screen for more like this.